Morning, guys. It's Brandon back with you, and we're gonna have a conversation today. So I got a few small jobs. Well, I say small jobs, I got a small job to do today, but we want to hear about that cop. That's what this whole video is about. So while I'm doing this, we're gonna be talking about that. This guy, it's worth talking about, I ain't gonna lie. I've had people actually reach out to me from California. We're in Florida, and they know about this cop. So he's made quite a name for himself. So it's a big to do here in my little town where I live at. So he is touched the lives and the souls of many people throughout the world, apparently, at least across the United States. So I got a few things today I got to do, and we're going to have that conversation. Get this trailer taken off. Give me just a second. 2 hours later. All right, we're good. Let's get the other one. So we're gonna hook to this other trailer, tractor loaded up. We're gonna talk. Now y'all don't get on me yet. I'm in my yard. I don't have my seatbelt on. I'm driving 10 feet into a different trailer. I am cautious, y'all. I promise you. Tell you what, y'all might be able to help me with this. I don't know the reason why we had to create 3 different balls to go on a trailer. So every trailer takes something normally different. I have 5 trailers, and almost every one of them has a different ball. So you got your 1 7/8, you got your 2-inch, you got your 2 7/8, I think it is. So constantly switching. They all took the same one, we wouldn't have this problem. We got that trailer hooked up, pull up here, put the ramps on it, get the tractor loaded up. We're going to talk about our best friend, the cop. Y'all, we headed to work. Got the tractor loaded, everything good to go. So now we can talk on the way there, and probably a little bit while we're there. This is a lot to talk about. If I say so myself, this is pretty interesting. And then on top of that, everybody around here is real familiar with it. And you ever heard the expression, when it rains it pours? Let me show you something that I just seen. So apparently, the either a dog or a bear.
I have to eat my weight every day.
Got in the trash last night, which sucks. So I need to clean that up. A, because any other animals that come around probably gonna smell it. It's right in front of them, they can get to it easy. So if they come back, we're gonna have a bigger mess. So, and me being the landlord and the dad, it's kind of my responsibility to make sure this stuff stays clean. So we're fixing to clean the yard up real quick. Alright, got the trash cleaned up. Now we head on to the job. We'll see. Hold on. I had my to get views dropping their boat. All right, guys, we're here at the cemetery to work on this job. Finally got here. This one we're actually pulling to put a marriage date on. The family actually, we got it put out, and then they were like, "No, we didn't put the marriage date on there." I'm like, that stinks. So it'd been a lot easier to do it when it was at the office the first time, but you know, that's cool. So we're about to pick it up and take it back to the shop and put that on there. But anyway, this is what we're dealing with. They were burying some ashes here. I'm about to call them and see if they finally did that or what's going on, so I can clean this up, make it look normal again. But anyway, that's the task we got today, or right now. So, talking about this cop, for y'all that haven't seen the video, go back and watch it, but I'll do a brief run over. So I went to this property, just drove by it one day, and I was like, gosh, that's overgrown. I'm talking about, y'all, like, my truck was on the front of the property. You could not see my truck. It was over 10 feet tall. I didn't walk around the property to start with. I just drove by and seen it, and then I realized my buddy Tip lived next door. Hold on a second, let me take these ramps off. So I realized my buddy Tip lived next door, and he told me nobody lived there. And since Hurricane Michael, no one had been there. Hold on a second. So since Hurricane Michael, there had been nobody there. And I asked him if he knew who they were. He said, I ain't got a clue. Never talked to him or nothing. I said, well, that thing looks horrible for the community, because all the other yards were like, you know, they're immaculate around it. They look good. Hold on a second. So all the other yards, they look really good around it. And I asked him, I said, you think anybody mind if I mowed it? He's like, no. So y'all know how it went out. A lot of y'all told me, you know, you should go to property appraisers and all this stuff and get permission. Well, that's great. I agree with y'all. But here's also the issue. There's a lot of people, you know, I'm trying to help out. I go around. I got 3 doors today that I'm gonna go knock on to see if I can help them. So you have to put that much effort, you know, going to look it up, hunt them down, all that. It's almost just not worth the fact of spending that much time on that one because you could be helping 3 other ones because of all the time you would spend doing that. But, you know, since I had already brought it up to my buddy, and literally his yard connected up to this one, I was like, you know, I kind of owe it to him to do it now, or at least put forth the effort into it. So I didn't figure they'd really mind as bad as it was. So I went ahead and did it, you know. And y'all can comment whether y'all agree with that or not. I think it's personally, this is just personally, don't get on me. Personally, if you're helping someone and you're not going to damage anything, I mean, you shouldn't have to beg someone to help, you know. There was nothing on the property, nothing in the barn. There was nothing I could have stole, nothing I could have took. So that was not even an option, you know, of something going bad like that or something disappearing. Wasn't really worried about anything like that. But anyway, how it went down was I started mowing the yard and got a little bit done, not a whole lot. And since it was so tall, I mean, y'all, I'm talking about tall. Since it was so tall, when I mowed the grass by the road, I blew it back into the yard, but it kind of kicked some out in the road. Real quick, just in case some of y'all are interested. So we have to pop this headstone because we put putty under it. So what I do is you take a board, put it on the back like this, and I'm gonna pull the tractor up here and hit it right here and just lightly push it till that pops. And when that pops, then we'll take it, put some boards under it so we can get the straps under it. Anyway, back to the cop story. So I'm mowing, I'm on the back of the property, toward the back of the property. I got the camera facing the other way, so, you know, I didn't get the cop driving up. And I hear someone holler, "Hey!" And I turn around, I was like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Cut it off and come here." So I cut my mower off, start headed that way. Y'all wanted to turn that camera around so bad, and actually I'm gonna tell y'all what happened there. Next time I will, I promise you. Hold on, I got somebody coming. Just hold on. How we doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I mean, we've done a lot of. So that fella come over here and talked to me. Just to kind of let you know what happened. He come over to me, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Are you with such and such company?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not. I have my own company." I told him who I was with. He said, "Good things. I was about to ruin your dang day." I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, being that you're not, can you tell me why?" So apparently there's been some other companies coming out here. One of them crushed a culvert where you drive in because they don't know how to drive apparently. And then they've been leaving chunks of concrete laying out here, boards, just all kinds of mess. He said like on the cemetery look horrible, and they leave, and then the church people drive up and they gotta come out here and move all this stuff. The grass cutting guy has to move it. So he said, if you're with that company, he said, I was about to get all over your end and let you know before you leave today that I'm coming out here and I'm gonna check it before you leave, and it will be cleaned up or you won't be leaving. I was like, wow. So me and him's on good terms. I'm not with that company, thank God. So let me get the tractor going and get off and get over and get to work, and we'll finish our story about the cop. Got everything loaded up. strap it down real quick. So back to our cop story. The cop's hollering at me and telling me to come over there. I almost turned the camera around. Man, I wanted to really bad. But this would be, hold on a second. This would be my 8th run-in with this cop. 8th, y'all. So, I've never got a ticket from him. We've had some bad conversations. So, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my conversations with him. Hold on, I'm almost done. So, this would be my 8th run-in with him. We're gonna go over a couple of them conversations. A couple of them had just been, you know, speeding a mile or two, you know, 1 or 2 miles per hour with the speed limit. All the rest were other things, like, and I ain't saying, you know, I ain't saying he's right and I'm wrong. You know, some of these, yeah, were definitely my fault. There was one time right after Hurricane Michael that, so there was one time he pulled up at my house right after Hurricane Michael. Like, I'm telling you, like, you could not see my yard after Hurricane Michael. So, my whole road was just solid trees. So what they done was people just went through there, you know, if the top of the tree was hanging over and then there would be, so like they cut a hole where you could just like weave through it, is what they did. And that's how we had to go up and down the roads until we could get them all clear. There was just so much debris and stuff, it was horrible. But anyway, we got all that done. We got that whole, you know, wound up getting it all cleaned up. While I'm cleaning up my yard, they told us that we need to push everything to the road, and the county would come by for the next 3 or 4 months, about every 2 or 3 weeks, and just be picking up everything on the roads. So that's what I did. I mean, I worked for 9 days straight on my yard, cleaning it up after Hurricane Michael. I sent my family, my wife's family is actually from North Carolina, so her mama's side of the family. So I told her, I said, look, we didn't have any power. We didn't know when power was going to be restored. The hurricane literally hit 10 miles from my house, like the eye of it. So it was bad. Anyway, we had no damage to the house. We actually went to my mother-in-law's house because she had a brick home at the time, and had a tree fall on the house and crush one side of the house. So we'd actually been better if we'd stayed at my house, but y'all seen my house. We got these giant trees everywhere. So that's what we did. We went and stayed with her, and when we got back, oh my gosh, I mean, when we drove up, well, y'all seen the picture, like, you could not see at all our house. Like, we thought it was gone until we climbed through the debris, and it was like, oh, there it is. Y'all barely had a limb on it, like a tiny limb. So, but trees laying all around. Anyway, back to my cop story. Sorry. I was pushing everything up by the road. You know, and when you're pushing stuff up on a tractor, you're pushing a pile of stuff. You can't see what's on the other side of it. You know, exactly, not 100%. So I'm pushing everything up there, and I'm, you know, going back, grabbing some more off the pile. Well, I head back, and then I hear, "Rear." I look over there, and here's that cop. And he is out of his car, or getting out of his car, with his lights on, in front of that pile I just pushed up by the road. And here he goes again. He's telling me, cut it off, come here. And I'm like, dude, I'm working. Like, I don't have time for him right now. You know, we just had a hurricane, everything's horrible. I had to send my wife to her family's because we had no power, didn't know when we was gonna get it back. And he's like, you got a limb in this road that you pushed out, you gonna have to move it. I said, the whole entire road is limbs. what does it matter? And he said, well, you need to get over here and move it. You're going to do that now. I said, no, I'm literally fixing to drive back over there. I'll move it. He said, you better get off that tractor now and get over here. Y'all, I come off that tractor so mad. I figured I was fixing to either get a bullet or get tased. Because, I mean, I come off, I was mad. Like, I was ready to fight. Because this is stupid. This is stupid. All we're going through because of a hurricane, the whole road is covered in limbs. And you're mad about one stupid little limb in the road? So I start walking over there. He didn't wait on me. I had to walk about 50 yards. He jumps in his car and drives on off. So I walk on over there to look at this giant, massive limb that apparently is blocking the road that nobody can get down. Y'all, I was so aggravated. That limb was literally 12 inches out in the road. It might have been as big as my pinky. Like, it wouldn't hurt a fly if you hit it with it. I mean, there was no sense in that. And then he's driving, I could see him driving down the road, driving off, and he's weaving in and out of all these trees that are in the road. But call me up there for that. So that one was absolutely stupid. The other times, you know, I was speeding a few times. Wasn't much. A couple miles over the speed limit, but speeding. Not debating that. One time, and this was my fault to start with, the road that goes to my house, that you pull up, there's a stop sign. And then you literally cross over the road and you're pulling in my yard. So I pulled up there and apparently didn't come to a full stop. I was still going like 2-3 miles an hour, maybe. But I didn't come to a full stop. You know, because you can see down the road when you get close. I'm not saying I was right. I'm just saying that's why I did it. I pulled up there, I looked both ways, nobody was coming, I just eased on the cross. He was apparently way down the road somewhere, and he saw me not stop and going across. So he was far enough down the road that I pulled up in my driveway, parked in the garage, got out, was walking across my porch to go in the house, and I heard a car come spinning rocks in my driveway, flying up. And he pulled up behind my truck with his lights on. Y'all, when he hit his brakes, he slid like 6 feet across my rocks in my driveway. This was another time that I started going toward him like we're fixing to fight and tie up. Because the first thought that went through my mind, any of y'all's a parent, you'd have felt the same way. He slid across like 6 feet. If my kids would have been out there, he couldn't have stopped. You know, if one of my youngins would have been out there behind my truck, or trampolines right there, you know, there's a lot of stuff in my yard that the kids go out there and play with. Ran in the sprinkler, you know, going to their playhouse, anything. He could have flew up so fast, he could have hit one of them. And he was driving apparently so fast in my yard, in my driveway, that he slid 6 feet across rock instead of stopping. And so when he come out, I went to him. I was like, what the heck are you doing? He was like, man, you didn't stop at that stop sign. Okay. Is that worth killing somebody? I mean, me rolling over past a stop sign going 2 miles an hour, it's not right. I agree 100%. But is it worth killing one of my youngins in my yard or hitting somebody because you drove up here so fast? He said, well, I was trying to get down here before you went in the house. Okay. You could knock. You know, we have a doorbell. You can go ding dong and we'll come to it and we can have a conversation about it. We don't have to tear up the driveway. We don't have to kill somebody that's out in the yard because of this situation. So he chewed me out for not coming to a complete stop. I chewed him out for flying up in my driveway, tearing it up, and almost possibly killing somebody in the yard. And he left. So that was the last conversation me and him had that day in the yard, until this conversation when he was hollering at me about cutting the grass in this yard. So back to this. I get off the mower. I go to him. As crazy as he is, now y'all know we got some background now. Y'all understand that. As crazy as he is, I figured if I grab that camera and turn it around, there's no telling what he might do. So I didn't want to take that risk. So anyway, I figured that the audio would pick up because he wasn't about 20 feet maybe behind it. But I went back and listened to it, and it's so low you can't understand what he's saying, or me. So anyway, long story short, I walked back over there. He said, you can't be blowing grass in the road. I said, I wasn't. I was blowing it the other way. It's just so tall, man, that it's kicked a little bit out. I will blow it off before I leave, I promise you. And then he wasn't being mean. He wasn't being upset. He wasn't being, anything. And he said, he saw that trespassing sign on the corner of the property. I'm going to tell you about that in a second, too. But anyway, that trespassing sign on the corner of the property, he said, do you have permission to be here? And I said, no, sir. I talked to the neighbors. They don't know who owns it. It's an eyesore for everybody else. Everybody else's yards are immaculate. I said, so I just decided to stop by and cut it down. Apparently, whoever's, owns this, living here, whatever, is got it out of control and they can't get it under control. So I'm going to get it under control for them, whoever it is, and then go on. And he was like, well, you're not. Because if they have no trespassing sign, nobody has permission to be on this property. And it's right there. So I said, okay, well, what you want me to do? So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to leave, and I'm going to sit here till you do. So I literally grabbed my camera stuff, threw it in the truck, packed the mower up, threw everything together, weed eater, all that crap, and took off. So that was the end of that story. To go a little deeper into that, the no trespassing sign wound up being my buddy Tips. When he found out what happened, he called me. He's like, dude, that's my no trespassing sign. I'll just take it down. Which would have been good, But, since we had that run in, and since so many of y'all commented about you need permission, you need to make sure you're good there, I did that. So if you haven't watched part 2, there's a part 2, and all that comes together. So it was about 3 or 4 weeks later, but I took the time, found out where the people live, tried to find them on Facebook, tried to get their number, couldn't do it, couldn't find them, or find it. So I found their address, or their mailing address, and I drove 45 miles. It was like an hour and 10 minutes to their house or something like that. Knocked on their door and got permission to cut that yard. So, me and my daughter went back, cut the grass, got it all cleaned up. So the cop didn't win in that one. We got victorious and we was able to help these people out. Got it under control so they can get back over there and do what they need to do. So what y'all are also wondering probably is anything happened to the cop. So there's comments, the cop shouldn't be like that, you're helping somebody else. There's other y'all that think that I should have got permission for a win. I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying right or wrong, but I will say this. The cop did get in trouble for that, and he is apparently got in trouble for a lot of things. So the actual mayor of our town come to my house and talk to me, and just wanted to let me know, that was uncalled for, and that I do need to get permission, but they're supporting me. That's what he said. So anyway, the cop apparently had got in trouble for a lot of things over the years, and not because of what I've done, because I told him, I said, look, he wasn't mean to me, don't get on him. He didn't holler at me or anything. I didn't like it because I wanted to help these people out. I said, but don't get on to him for my stuff. So, long story short, there's apparently enough stuff had went on before with this cop that he is no longer with law enforcement. He actually had the years to retire. So don't think, any of y'all cops out there, don't think this cop got kicked to the curb because of some bad stuff or some things. He actually went ahead and retired. But I think the situation, not just my situation. My situation is very small compared to these others. I mean, we've heard of things like him grabbing somebody's cell phone when he pulled him over for a ticket for speeding, and he actually reached in there and grabbed their cell phone they were talking on and smashed it. That's just hearsay. It's just hearsay around town. But there's a lot of stories like that. And I think that some of the things he's done finally built up enough that they said, you know what, you need to go ahead and go. You got the time, you need to go. There is a news story around about him. It is, I'm not going to say exactly what it was because it's a very tender situation in our town. So I'm gonna let that one be, but it was pretty rough, y'all. It was pretty rough. If I told y'all that, y'all would be very upset. But we're gonna leave that one alone. We're gonna leave that one alone. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. I wanted just to update y'all on the cop. If you watched part 1 and you didn't get to see the conclusion to the story, go back, watch part 2. And us working today, we got the headstone. I actually, and it's my fault, but when I picked it up and went over and put it on the truck, my battery had died on my camera. So y'all missed that a little bit, but hey, y'all didn't care to watch that anyway. Y'all were here for the cop story. So we got a little bit of drama today with a guy that showed up at the cemetery. That was pretty awesome. So anyway, I'm glad I wasn't the one he was going after, and everything turned out okay. But anyway, God bless. Thank y'all for watching today. If y'all get the chance to help somebody, please do. Y'all like, subscribe, hit that notification button just to help me out.